You might know this already, but I'm going to say it again. It really does take a lot of strength to walk alone. It takes a lot of strength to see the vision in your mind, go after it, and make the necessary sacrifices to make that thing come to pass for the betterment of your life. That takes a lot of strength. Yes, people are going to talk. People are going to wonder, like, dang, they not the same. They doing this, they doing that, they acting strange. No, you think I'm acting strange because I'm not doing the things that I used to do. And you expected me to do the same things until I died, and I didn't do that. I changed up the program. I was predictable at first, but now you can't predict me. You can't stereotype me. You can't sum me up. In a generation that's obsessed with clocking it, I'm unclockable. Unclockable. All right? People will watch you and study you and then feel like they got you figured out. No, you don't. That's the problem. If it ain't the highest version of where I could be, then you don't have me figured out. Okay? Because the Lord is doing for me more than a mind could fathom, more than a heart could perceive, more than I could perceive. So I know you don't know. You know what I'm saying? People will just start looking at you like, oh, she's acting different, or he's acting different. They're acting bougie. They're acting stuck up. Why? Because I choose to care about myself. Because I choose to do what it is the Lord told me. I'm telling y'all, I know Noah went through some hard persecution. I know it. And they did not believe. They couldn't even fathom what was going to happen until it happened. Why? Because it was a vision and a download and a word that God gave him. He gave it to him. I bet if there were other people with a good heart and that was doing the best they could, the Lord would have spoke to them too. And how do we know that he did not speak to them? And all they did was reject it. And they didn't believe none of that he was saying. They didn't believe none of that he was doing until the flood came. And then they wanted mercy. You're going to have to check in with God to see if you can allow mercy or not. Joseph was able to show mercy. Noah was not. Because what came to the world was so devastating, he was not allowed to show mercy. That's a word right there. He wasn't allowed to show mercy. So I know, because he was not allowed to show mercy and open up that boat to let people in, I know that through his training process, God was teaching him how to be stoic. God was teaching him how to control his emotions. God was teaching him how to not have empathy when it's not called for. It's a time for everything. Noah could not be Captain Save Nobody. He could not save nobody. That just goes to show that he had to work on his emotional discipline, and he had to work on his emotional intelligence. He had to work on that. Some things you can infer based off of the actions that were taken. Don't let nobody doubt your discernment. Don't let nobody gaslight you into not knowing what you know or feeling what you feel. I have a video on that. Don't doubt your discernment. But yeah, through the actions that were taken, he had emotional discipline. Because could you imagine thousands of people outside of your huge boat screaming like, let me in? I'm sure that it sounded like hell. It probably sounded like hell. It literally, like literally, even if the wood was really thick and it was blocking off some of the noise, I'm sure it was loud enough for him to hear a little bit of something. So he had to have been trained. A lot of that training was internal. Yeah, he was building the boat. That was his physical work, his physical training, and whatever else he was doing physically. But I'm sure the internal work was more extensive, harder, and just more exhausting than the actual physical labor of him doing it. And that's probably why he went through so much persecution and so much like slander and gossip and they're crazy and stuff like that, because when the time came, he was gonna have tough skin. He was gonna have tough skin. He was gonna have to be able to be like, I hear what you're saying, but no. I hear you banging, but no. I hear you literally crying and losing your life. I literally hear you losing your life. But no, that's tough. That's tough. Like, are we being realistic right now? Like, that's tough. Just because it wasn't written in the text what he was thinking, don't mean we can't make inferences. Don't mean we can't, like, put ourselves in his shoes. Blood curdling screams, and you got to be like, thus saith the Lord. That's why sometimes people feel like prophets or teachers or evangelists or whatever, they feel like they're harsh, or they feel like, man, you could have said that nicer, or man, you're too strict and things like that. No, little do you know, I have more empathy than probably you. Like, let's be real. I probably have more empathy, understanding, and love in my heart than you. But I have to have emotional discipline. I have to have emotional intelligence with the way I move, or else I'm gonna get killed out here, or else I'm gonna be out here looking sad. You know what I'm saying? So this was real impromptu, but it was needed. I needed that. I needed that. That's crazy. Sometimes the downloads don't fully develop until you get there and just speak and just walk with the Holy Spirit and let him download the message in you. You feel me? So yeah, I love y'all. Bye. Subscribe, share, like.